Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Good morning, wherever you are in the world. This is one of our first webinars this recruitment season. And this webinar is intended for international students. In other words, students who are non-Chinese citizens. So if you're a Chinese citizen, maybe you could go to our website and find a different source of information. So this webinar is for non-Chinese students particularly. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Kirsty Messenson. I'm the head of the international office at Xi'an Liverpool University. And sitting on my right.
My name is Jia Wei. I'm from the Master's Admissions Office of Graduate School.
So in this webinar, we're going to cover a quick introduction to Xi'an Liverpool University, and then we will talk in detail about our undergraduate bachelor's degree admissions and scholarships, and then our postgraduate master's degree and PhD admissions and scholarships. We're going to focus mostly on the undergraduate and masters. If there are some students who are interested in our PhD, I would recommend, because that's a very complicated area, that you contact us by email and we could maybe arrange to meet you one by one. Okay, so before we start, I just want to check, can everybody hear okay? If anybody, I guess the answer must be yeah. We don't know. Yes, thank you, Nikan. We just wanted to check because there's a strange noise coming out of our laptop at the moment. Okay, so we will proceed. So, Xi'an Liverpool University, we are a relatively young university. Relatively young university. We haven't learned how to use a laptop yet. So we're about 20 years old. We are quite an unusual university. We're actually the biggest international university in China. And we've been formed by two other universities who came together to create this new independent university. So one of our parent universities is Xi'an University. If you are familiar with the Chinese higher education system, you'll be aware that Xi'an is one of the top 10 universities in China, very well established, very high level, particularly famous for engineering and sciences. And also our UK founding parent is the University of Liverpool, a top 200 university in the world, and famous for quite a range of subjects, also some sciences, health sciences, but also business and humanities and the social sciences. So we have two very strong parent universities. What that means in practice is that we issue 2 degrees to our students when they graduate from their undergraduate programs. They receive a University of Liverpool degree, exactly the same as you would if you were studying in the UK. And they receive a Xi'an Liverpool University degree, which is recognised under the Chinese Ministry of Education. So it's a double degree model. All of our courses are taught through the medium of English language. So you will be able to effectively study a degree entirely in English, very similar to the University of Liverpool curriculum, but based in China, which I think has quite a lot of advantages in terms of your future career, employability. You'll also have the ability to study Chinese language, which is a great asset for your future, I would say. And we have a very international staff and student body. So we have staff and students from over 90 countries, very internationally diverse. We have at the moment, around 23,000 students. Most, 80% are undergraduate students, around 20% are graduate students. So we're now quite a big, comprehensive university. I'll show you our programs at the undergraduate level. So we have quite a range of programs. I think to make it simple, so you don't need to read everything, we do not have law, and we do not have medical sciences, and we do not have veterinary sciences. Other subject areas are largely covered. We have a very big and very, very successful business school. I'll make a special mention about our business school. It's one of the top 100 business schools in the world. And you can see the subjects that are taught in the International Business School, Suzhou. So normal range of subjects for a well-established and high-ranking business school. We also have, let me see, yes, we have a second campus, and this is called the Xi'anjiaotong Entrepreneur College, Taishan. Taishan is a different district in Suzhou City. So this is in a separate campus to the campus where we are currently sitting. It was opened 2 years ago. And as you can see from these subjects, Eng, data science and big technology with entrepreneurship, artificial intelligence, supply chain management, cultural technologies, these are academic subjects that are very much of the moment, very contemporary, very cutting edge in terms of the future demands of the workforce. And also in areas where China is, I would say, very much ahead of most countries in the world in terms of developing these and applying these new technologies. So these subjects are very different in the way they're taught. They're taught often with an industrial partner, so that the student will be being taught in a traditional way, but also in the classroom, doing real industrial projects with real companies, and having, during the 4 or 3 year program, periods of time working in companies. Not paid, don't get excited, but working as interns and in real projects, giving you that real life business experience that I think is very useful when you join the workforce. So if any students have got any questions as we go along about our programs or anything we talk about, write the questions into the chat box, and we're keeping a record, and we will come back at the end and answer any detailed questions. And also just to remind you that our website has got a detailed description of each and every program that we've listed here. Okay, let's go. Next slide. So, question about mechanical engineering. I'll just answer now before we move on. Do we have mechanical engineering? No, we don't. We have mechatronics, which is mechanical and robotic engineering. So I draw your attention to mechatronics program, which is an overlap between 2 majors, including mechanics. Okay, I'll move on to the entry requirements. Okay, I need to explain something that might not be very obvious. In the Chinese higher education system, university degrees are 4 years long. In the UK higher education system, degrees are 3 years long normally. So we have a 4-year degree because we're based in China. But if you have reached a certain academic standing, a certain academic level, basically the level that would qualify you to enter a UK university without the need for a foundation program, you can join our year 2. So you can skip our first year. Our first year is a general education year. I would compare it to an American university general education first year, where you do a range of foundational subjects that build the foundation for your very specialized degree content. So, for example, if you are an international student from, let's say, Indonesia, and you're studying international business in your year 1, you will do Chinese language, you will do some English for academic purposes to get your English to a very, very high standard, and you will then do some modules generally related to business which you have a choice over, which could be some math, it could be some intercultural communication, it could be something more social science. So you you do a general education year. When you join year 2, you study only international business with a language. You're very, very focused. So if you are coming from most countries in the world, you will need to join a 4-year degree. So you will be entry into year 1, a high standing in the high school performance with a minimum B average in relevant subjects. So we're looking for an above average student, GPA higher than 3, and particularly in the subjects that are relevant to your degree that you're choosing, a relatively good academic level. So if you choose, let's say, mechatronics, if you choose mechatronics, we'd be looking for maths, we'd be looking for some background in some sciences, maybe physics, for example. So it's impossible to say exactly what is required for each and every subject according to your own education system. You can go to our website and we have a list of countries where you can find your country or your education system and see what that means in your own system. But if you need to check this, and it's probably a good idea to ask, you can, at the end, we'll show you the email address and the admissions officer will give you quite a detailed description for your program and for your country education system. So if you are able to join year 2, that means you must be studying something like International Baccalaureate or UK A-level or SAT or AP or something like that. That's a qualification that normally you would not need to do a foundation year. And you can see that our entry tariff is around B level, IB 30 points, SAT, you can see, AP, you can see. And again, it's the same philosophy. If you're studying something to do with science, we look for science A levels. If you're studying business administration, we don't care if you've studied science. We're looking for things to do with humanities, social sciences, languages. If you study architecture, we obviously want to ask you also to produce a portfolio to show your artistic and creative skill. In addition to the academic components, we have a requirement for an English language qualification. If you are a native speaker of English, or you have studied in English for your high school or a longer part of your education, you may be exempted from this requirement. But if you're not exempted, this is the standard we expect. So in year 1, IELTS of 5 IELTS minimum, a year 2, 6.5 minimum. You can see the big gap there. There's a big gap between year 1 and year 2. Why? Because in year 1, you get to study quite a lot of English and EAP. So if your English is, not brilliant, but quite okay, then year 1 will boost your level into a very highly fluent and academically high standard. So that's the reason for this big difference in the year 1 and year 2 EAP requirements, English language requirements. So we accept a huge range of English language qualifications, not just IELTS, not just TOEFL. You can look on our website. Probably if whatever qualification you're doing, we would accept it. And we've got a chart and we can give you exactly the equivalent. So it's not, this is something we don't want to be an obstacle. If you, for example, are studying, you think your English is really good, but you haven't taken the test and you're confident that actually, I don't really want to spend so much money doing an IELTS test, we can arrange a special EAP test if you accept an offer. We think that English is something that we don't want to make it the big block to your application, because there are so many ways that you could get through this and be admitted to, especially year 1. And then year 1 to year 2, you will have a huge English EAP boost to your level. Right, I'm going to hand over to Mike. Thank you.
So I'm very glad to be here today to share with you some information about our master's programs and the entry requirement and also the scholarships, etc. And first, look at our master's programs listed here under each school and academy. And currently, we have a total of 48 master's programs across the university, and covering a very broad range of subject areas like science, engineering, design, architecture, humanities, business, and management. You can have a look at the programs. And also we have programs in education, pharmacy, and mathematics, and culture and communication. And part of the master's programs, we also offer part-time courses. And the program length for most full-time programs is from 18 months to 24 months. And the part-time programs are from 30 months to 42 months. And I want to mention that some programs in the SAT School for Advanced Technology, like the science, engineering, and the design, we also offer the XJTLU G3 joint programs. That's the university and industry cooperative programs that can prepare students for the future career. You may have the opportunity to step into the industry during your master study in XJTLU and finish your research project and a dissertation under the guidance of both academic supervisor of XJTLU and also the industry supervisor of from the company, from the institute. Okay, so if you're interested in any of the master's programs listed here, you may go to our university website and have more detailed and specific introduction on each program. And about the entry requirements, normally we would require a minimum UK up second class degree or equivalent. Like for North American countries, we normally require a GPA of 3.0 out of 4.0 or above for all the master's programs. But different programs may have different specific requirements on applicants. For example, some design programs, architecture programs, they may ask applicants to provide portfolios when applying for our master's programs. And some programs may have requirements on applicants' undergraduate background, undergraduate academic background, something like that. So before you apply for master's programs, you can go to our website, go to the program page and find the specific requirements on each program. As for the English language requirement, it's also the same. It's also different from program to program. And normally we would require an IELTS score of 6.0 for some STEM programs from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics programs. But for some STEM programs, we may also require a higher IELTS score of 6.5. And for most business programs and some humanity programs, we require an IELTS score of 6.5. And for we would require an IELTS score of 7.0 for some humanity programs. And for the English language tests, we would recognize for applying for our master's programs is normally the IELTS academic, the TOEFL IBT, and the PTE Pearson tests. But for some applicants, if you are coming from an English-speaking country, you may also be qualified for an exemption from the English language requirement. Or if you have completed your degree program in an English-speaking country and your degree is conferred no earlier than January 1st of 2022, then you may also be qualified for the exemption from the English language requirement. For all this information, you can find them on our university website. Make sure you check them carefully before you apply for a program. I think that's my part.
Okay, so if you'd like to apply, application is done completely through the university website. So these are the things that before you press the application button, you need to check that you have some documents and some materials ready. You don't have to do the application all at once. You can go into the system, create the application, save the application, and come back to it. So you've got time. The application deadlines are quite far away in June and June. Yeah, 30th of June and the 15th of June. However, there are, and I'll come to this later, there are significant advantages to applying early. The main advantage is going to be the scholarship success rate, and I'll describe that in a moment. The other advantage is that if you apply early and there's a problem with the application, some missing document or your EAP level or English level hasn't reached, there is still time to meet the requirements. So I would always recommend to you when applying to any university, don't leave it too late. The earlier, the better. For all these different reasons, this will give you advantages. Okay, so what do you need to apply? Okay, so go to the website, go to there's a portal, application portal, create an account, which is your application account. This means that you can save materials, come back. You don't need to do it all at once. And these are the documents that you need. So you need the transcripts or certificates of education qualifications. Now, at this point, you're going to say, oh, but I haven't finished high school. I'm still in my university degree. I haven't been able to finish yet. So do I have to wait until the end? No. In fact, definitely don't wait until you've graduated from high school or graduated from your university. It might be too late. You apply with what you have at the moment. So if you're in high school, then at the moment you can put your transcripts of your last 2 to 3 years of academic results. If you're in university, you can put in your high school transcripts. So you put something to show what kind of academic level you have. And then the admissions officers will use that as the judge of what your future potential is likely to be. And you'll be issued with you might be issued with 3 different decisions. 1, reject. 2, conditional offer. That means we're going to give you an offer, but you need to meet a certain condition. In the case, often it's finish your high school and graduate with B grades. If you're a university, it will be graduate from your degree with certain percentage. Or you'll get an unconditional offer, and that means you've met all the requirements, and all you have to do is just pay the deposit and then you can turn off. So 3 different kinds of decisions. For master's programs, we also need a CV, which is just a summary. I guess you know what a CV is, a resume, just a summary of who you are, what you've done to get a better, fuller picture of your background. And that may include employment, because if you're a master's student, you might have spent several years in employment, and the employment will really add, I think, to the case you have for things like getting a scholarship. And for masters, you also need academic references. For UG, I think it's nothing much. Your certificates, your transcripts, your English language ability or evidence. And that's it. For masters, there's these extra criteria, which is the CV and the academic references. Is that right? Yeah. Those are the different things. If you're applying for scholarships, we'll come to that in a moment. You obviously need to do something else, and we'll come to this. Fees. So for the undergraduate programs, the fee is actually a fixed fee. There's no difference between different majors. and it's 88,000 RMB, which is about 9,500 UK pounds. Now, it's important to notice that if you apply and you pay your deposit before this early bird discount, you'll get a reduction of the fee. So that's definitely worth thinking about if you're able to do that before the early bird deadline. May the 1st, you save quite a bit of money. Masters, this is very typical, where each course has got its own particular fee. And the way to find out is to go to the website and look at the course you're interested in, and you'll be able to see the fee for each of the courses. There is no early bird discount. No, you don't get a reduction for signing up early. But I think, do you get a reduction if you pay the whole tuition fee at one time? No, no incentives to pay early for the masters. But for the undergraduate, definitely pay attention to this early bird discount. Okay, and we also have these non-degree courses called Chinese language courses, and they're only 9,500. They are courses just to learn Chinese, and we run them every semester for 4 or 5 months. And the purpose of these courses, I'll come to it in a moment, is for students who are international students who want to spend some dedicated time on their Chinese language to have this opportunity. And let's see, no, I'm just going to skip forward a minute. Otherwise, it's a bit, here, you see, promotion. So these Chinese language courses, to be honest with you, we run them because we have, from our own graduates, a demand for extra Chinese classes, especially when those students graduate or before they start the course, because they want to become fluent in Chinese. And during their degree, they do Chinese, but it's like they're busy with their degree and they don't get to spend a huge amount of time studying Chinese. So these are for students who really want to make sure that their Chinese is absolutely ultra fluent. So we run these courses each semester. If you are going to study a degree, a master's degree or a undergraduate degree, and you're going to start your degree in September, you can take a Chinese course before your degree for free. It's like I'd say it's like a kind of incentive to choose XJTLU, but also honestly, it's because if the students come a bit earlier, we face less pressure of all the students all arriving at once at one time. So selfishly, we like it when students arrive in batches so that all of the processes of onboarding are spread out. And for the students, you get this big advantage of being able to come to China earlier, study Chinese in a very focused way, really, dedicate some time to Chinese, settle in a long period of time, not in 1 week, in the freshers week. And also, it sort of helps you when you're living in China. If you can learn a little bit of Chinese at the beginning, then you've got this like big advantage in terms of your confidence. You become more familiar, you can speak a few words, you can do a few things, you can, it gives you a kind of boost. Just like if you went to the UK, you might do a pre-sessional for your English. It's that kind of philosophy. So we give this course free tuition waiver if you're starting a master's degree or a bachelor's degree, because you've shown, a big commitment there to studying with XJTLU. We'd like to say thank you for choosing us and give you this sort of benefit that I think helps you before you start your degree, also helps us. So in order to qualify for that and to take the place, you just have to, as soon as you've paid the deposit, you're issued if you want to, we'll issue you a summer school place, 4 weeks, or a semester course, 2 to 3 months. And you need to just inform us that that's what you'd like to do, and we will make the relevant documentation. I'm going to come back to the questions that are coming in because they're quite complicated. I think we'll come back to them in the end. I'm going to now move on to the bit that everybody's interested in, the scholarships. Here we are. Scholarships. Who are we looking for? Who we are looking for? Who we're looking for scholarships? Okay, all of our scholarships are based on academic merit. So what we're looking for is, as a minimum, a good academic level. That's the same for bachelor's and for master's and for PhD. So good students, good academic students. How is that demonstrated? Well, if you are currently at high school, it would be demonstrated through your high school results, through the results you've achieved so far in your middle school and your high school. If you're a master's student, it may also be demonstrated through work, employment, and your career and things you've done that give you a really, high potential in the course that would make you become a very good student on the master's program. So scholarships are about merit. They're not about financial need, they're about merit. Now, what do we do to choose these students? It's different for each level. So for a UG student, let's see, here we are. There are different kinds of scholarships, all based on academic merit, but some, I will be honest with you, are easier to get than others. So you see these ones here, industry leadership scholarships. These are for the new programs in the new campus in the Taisang Entrepreneurial College. Why are we being very generous with that program, that college and that program? Because it's new and we're obviously trying to build up the student population in these new programs. So your chance of getting a scholarship in the industry leadership program is actually much higher than in a standard, well-established, long-standing degree program. So I think all universities do this. When they want to develop a certain area, they will invest in it to try and, at the beginning, to try and boost and develop the program. That's what we have there. We also have general scholarships. So if you apply for chemistry or international business or robotics, mechatronics, you would apply for the general entry scholarship, XJTLU entry scholarship. And you can apply to, this is out of date, it's 50%. We actually have 100% scholarships, up to 100% scholarships. Most of the scholarships are between 20 to 50%, with a small number of 10% scholarships and a very small number of 100% scholarships. And the criteria is all based on academic merit, academic level, and other things that you would want to highlight in your personal statement. So achievements that you've made, things to do with, maybe you've had jobs, part-time jobs or employment. Give your motivations, why you're applying for the scholarship. Okay, and in addition to these general standard scholarships, we've got some scholarships, especially for Hong Kong, Taiwan, Macau students. They are actually relatively plentiful, I would say. There's quite a lot of them. And you will see them on our website, and they also pop up during the year. They're given to us by the government, and sometimes we can't exactly tell you when they're going to appear, but they have for the last 10 years appeared every single year. So I think we can guarantee that there are quite a lot of scholarships. And I think the important thing to know if you want to try and get a scholarship is to basically apply. And once you're in the system, we alert students through mailing lists, through webinars like this, through our WeChat channel, which will show you the code. And then you keep your eye out for those opportunities. When they pop up, you can jump onto them and apply. Once you've become an XJTLU student, you're entitled to apply to have other scholarship opportunities. So between the end of each year, between the end of year 1 to year 2, year 2 to year 3, year 3 to year 4, if you've achieved very high grades, you automatically get a progression scholarship. So that is something that you can't really apply for in advance. You just have to come here and work hard. And if you work hard and you're getting a very high score, you'll automatically be given those scholarships. Every summer, we have something called the Summer University Research Fellowship, which is a fully funded research project where students will do a mini PhD for 2 months. They have to apply in a competitive process, and if they win, they get a funded project which gives them a certain amount of actual money. They get paid a stipend to support their living cost and undertake the 2-month research project. And then if students choose to go to Liverpool, and they could go to Liverpool on the 2+2, after 2 years they can articulate to Liverpool, or they could go to Liverpool to do a master's degree. They are automatically eligible for a 10% discount off the University of Liverpool tuition fee. And Liverpool tuition fee is quite a lot higher than XJTLU. So that 10% actually amounts to quite a large amount of money. Right. We need to move the camera. Ah, it's stuck. Oh, it's moving. Sorry, we're having a technical problem with the camera. There we are.
Yeah. So for the master's program scholarships, we also have different kinds of scholarships for full-time master's programs. The first one is for the entry, general entry scholarships. And it is applicable to all full-time master's programs applicants. And the value ranges from 20% to 50% of the tuition fee of the program. And also we have a very limited number of full scholarship. It will be considered only be considered for a few applicants with outstanding academic merit and with research potential, and only for Masters of Research programs. And currently we have 10 Masters of Research programs here, listed here. So if you are applying for one of the Masters of Research programs listed here, you may be eligible to be considered for the full scholarship. But since the quota is very limited, so the competition is extremely fierce. And the next scholarship is what we call the Friendship Scholarship. It is specifically for international students coming from Russia, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Nigeria, and Ghana, and also for international students who live in the Chinese mainland when you apply for our master's programs. And the value is around is 30% of the total program tuition fee. And the third one is called the Government Talent Selection Program, the TSP program. And it is designated for the MSc Sustainable Construction Program only. And it is a governmental scholarship, and it's a full scholarship that will cover your program fee, and also you will have a basic living allowance covering your living expense here during your master study here in China, in Suzhou. So each year we will have 4 rounds of master scholarship panel meetings to review all the master scholarship applications. And the 4 rounds panel meetings are in January, March, May, and July. And the decisions will be released to the applicants after the panel meeting. So the deadline for the scholarship application for 2024 intake is the 1st of June, 2024. And applicants for master's programs applicants, you need to submit your scholarship application form together with your application when you apply for the program. And also you need to provide some supporting documents for your scholarship application to prove your academic excellence. And also if you have some awards or competitions during your undergraduate program, or you have some published papers, some research projects, something like that, you can put in the scholarship application form. That will be a plus for your scholarship application. Okay, so for all these detailed information, you can find it on our university website. And here, after the following is the scholarship for the PhD, just for your information. We also have 3 kinds of scholarships for PhD, for full-time PhD programs. And the first is the full scholarship, which consists of a tuition fee waiver for 3 years and a monthly stipend of 5,000 RMB for 3 years. And the second one is the fees-only scholarship, which consists of a tuition fee waiver for 3 years. And the third one is the partial tuition fee scholarship, which consists of up to 50% tuition fee reduction for 3 years. And if you're interested to get to know more about the PhD scholarship, you can scan the QR code below to get to know more. And that's it.
Okay. Oh, no, that was big. Our camera is very slow to move. So we're going to start answering your questions now. I think we've got a full list. I'm just going to draw your attention to this final slide, which is how to find out more information. Very important. So please scan this QR code, and this will connect you to our WeChat regular communication. So we send out important information, useful announcements when scholarships are announced, etc. If you subscribe to this channel, you'll be able to find out when opportunities arrive more quickly than other people. You can also email us on international@xjtlu.edu.cn if you have very particular questions, and my colleague Jingran will respond relatively quickly. So this is if you need to find something that's not on our website. Our website has a huge amount of information. Sometimes it's a bit hard to find some particular information, so please email. And you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. So I've got a list of your questions. I may have missed some of them, and I may have misunderstood some of them. So please, if this is not the answer, or if there's you're not getting the answer you need, please just write a clarification. So we have a question: can you transfer from a Chinese university to XJTLU? Yes, in principle, yes. So we have what's called a transfer policy. That means if you've studied 1 year or 2 years at a Chinese university, you can take those credits and bring them to XJTLU, and we will, if the credits sufficiently match and the content, let's say content, not credit, is sufficiently similar, we will use that as a basis for letting you join XJTLU in years 3 or year 2. It's very hard to say yes, definitely, or no, definitely not, because it really depends on the subject you choose and what you've already studied and your grades. But the principle, yes, and every year 10 students transfer. So it happens quite often. But for your case, I would recommend you email international at this email address here and describe your situation, and we can advise you on a one-to-one basis. Okay, so 2 questions about employability. A student has asked, can you get a job in China after you've graduated from your undergraduate? and a student has asked, can you get a job after you've graduated from your master's in China? For can you get a job if you do your master's? It's much more easy, to be honest, if you've done a master's degree or a PhD to get a job in China. China's got a points-based immigration system. So they look for talent as often quantified through your education level. So, and your experience level in terms of jobs. If you're a fresh graduate with no work experience, then your education level becomes very, very important. So master's degrees, PhD degrees, it's not too difficult to get a job. For an undergraduate, it's a bit difficult, I have to say, because your education level is relatively low compared to the Chinese labor force. So where it's possible is where you, as an international student, have got a special skill that you have that other people in the job market don't have. So, for example, real cases, some of our Indonesian students, they've worked for a Chinese company that's opening new markets in Indonesia. They are the bridge between China and Indonesia. Or one of our students is working in a chemical industry, and he's got a particular skill in his subject, but also in terms of being able to link the company to the US market. So where there's a niche, it's possible, and it is increasingly possible. More and more students every year fit into these categories, but it's something where you cannot say it's guaranteed. I can't, just in any situation in life, you can't guarantee you're going to get a job when you graduate. A lot of it depends on your own effort and depends on luck, depends on the job market at the time. But we have an employability service that is very helpful at trying to support you through mentorship, job fairs, through individual counselling, and through like our webpage. If you go to our website and see our job site, the international job site, you'll see what kind of things we do to help students find jobs. What progression? So a student asked, what percentage mark do you need to have to get a progression scholarship? So this is 70%, I think. You need to get 70%. It's a kind of a UK 70%, where 65% is the first class mark, 70% is first class plus, so 70%, and you'll qualify for a progression scholarship. Additional scholarships. Somebody asked a really good question. They must know, somebody in XJTLU. They said, what additional scholarships are available after you've joined XJTLU? Every year we get some scholarships from the government for different kinds of international students, and we allocate them by a competitive process. We're allocating some scholarships at the moment. We have 9 scholarships of 18,000 RMB, and we've asked students to compete through a competition where they show how they've contributed to the XJTLU community. These scholarships we vaguely talk about on our website, and we don't really talk about in detail because they're not guaranteed. It's from local government. They have certain strategic priorities to support the Chinese economy, for example, the Belt and Road Initiative, and we don't know in advance if we will get them and what kind of criteria they will have and how much they will be. So that's why I draw your attention to our social media, our global account, because when we get these opportunities, we announce them to our students and to our community through these channels. So you need to kind of get a channel onto the inside to know what opportunities there are. Okay, do we issue scholarships based on financial difficulty? No, we don't do that. The reason we don't do that is because we can't quantify it. It's impossible for us as a small admissions office to know when students submit financial difficulty, if it's true, if it's not true, and how do we compare it between different countries in the world and different family situations? Impossible, absolutely impossible. So we do everything on the evidenced base of academic merit. However, if when you're writing your scholarship personal statement, you want to mention other contextual information, please write it and the scholarship panel read that. And if the academic merit is also very, very good, they may take that into consideration on their own personal opinion. But it's part of an academic-based scholarship competition. Early bird. This is a very, very good question. Thank you, whoever asked this question. So the question was, if you pay the deposit before the early bird deadline, you qualify for the 10% discount. Does the discount apply every year of your degree? And the answer is yes. It applies from the beginning to the end. So that is why I emphasize that as being a very useful thing for you to think about, because it will save you quite a bit of money over the 4-year or 3-year period. IB subjects. What IB subjects, International Baccalaureate, should you choose if you wish to do a degree in management, business and management? It doesn't matter, to be honest, as long as you're getting good grades. The IB is a really good qualification, very general, very wide. I mean, you might want, if you chose some maths at the higher level, that would increase your range of possible subjects you could you could choose. So if you did high level maths, you'd be able to apply for finance and economics. If you did standard maths, you couldn't apply for finance and economics. So bear that in mind, but otherwise, we would accept any kind of subject in the IB because we very much respect the IB qualification for business and management. As long as you're getting good grades, I think you don't need a particular type of subject. Do we have a master's in engineering management?
We don't have exactly the same program, but we have like construction management.
Yeah, civil engineering.
Yeah, civil engineering.
Yeah. So civil engineering plus management we have, and it's quite popular. Do we have a sibling discount? So if your brother and sister study at XJTLU, or your brother and sister will study at XJTLU, do you get a discount? Yes, it's 5% for one brother or sister, 10% for 2 brothers or sisters. So at the point, 2 brothers or sisters, it's on our website. It's very complicated, but yes, I would advise you, we'll write the web link and put it into the chat box now. You can go to it directly and read it. So next question. Do we have subjects in media and new media? Yes. Go to the Department of Media and Communications. We have both undergraduate programs, media and communications, and master's programs, media and communication department. Do we have PhD in sociology and mental health? Our PhD is the UK system, so it's done by project. So a professor will create a project according to their research interest and put the project onto our website and therefore find students who are suitable for that project. So in our university, we have the Academy of Future Education, which has got a research focus, including early childhood education, which involves mental health, sociology, pedagogy, education. That is where I would feel there might be suitable projects with sociology, mental health discipline areas. Academy of Future Education. So that's actually one of our biggest growing, fastest growing departments. Yeah, huge. And it's just won some very high level ranking in the world. So actually it's an area of growth. So go to the Academy of Future Education pages on the website and look around and see what kind of things that they're advertising and what kind of PhD projects they offer. It changes every few months, doesn't it? The PhD projects get advertised 2 times a year. I think I'm almost certain that 2 times a year or 3 times a year, new PhD projects are put onto the website. So if you're looking for a PhD, it's really important to sort of get familiar with what we have. And if there's nothing suitable, you know, just come back to it, because the projects are funded twice per year and then advertised. It's not like UG where it's fixed every year, it's the same. PhD is changing according to the professors winning the money in order to run the projects. It's like very dynamic. Keep your eye on the website. Right. Any other questions that I've forgotten? No. Is there any fully funded scholarship for master's students? Yes. Let's just go back to that page. There are. These ones. The Masters in Research, MRes, Advanced Chemical Sciences, Computer Science, Low Carbon, Environmental Sciences, MRes Management. These are 100% scholarships for the Masters. They're research scholarships, not taught Masters.
It is highly, extremely competitive.
Yeah. You can imagine every 100% scholarship is very, very competitive.
You can apply for it if you apply for one of these master research programs. You can try for it.
Yeah, try. And I think for masters, 100% scholarships, and for UG, 100% scholarships, do not apply late. I would say apply early. November, December, January, your chance will be highest.
Yes.
Think about it. This is a good tip for you. Each year, a university is given a scholarship budget, a certain amount of money to give for scholarships. They start to accept applications in September, and the final applications are June, and they start to use the money not evenly. It's human psychology. You get given a bag of money at the beginning, you feel rich and you're very generous. At the end, you've spent most of the money, you feel very ungenerous. Always, all universities the same. If you want scholarships, the earlier to apply, the higher your chance. It doesn't matter if your grade is the same in November and your grade is the same in June, your chance in November, December is higher than June. What else? Any more? Is there? Yes, there is. So Christian, is there a 100% scholarship for computer science? All of the UG programs, you have a chance to apply for 100% scholarship. They're all the same. The chance is the same. So look on our website and look at the criteria. They're all open to 100% scholarship. Is GPA 3.0 the lowest requirement for a master's degree?
Yeah, normally we require a GPA of 3.0 out of 4 when you apply for master programs. But if your GPA is slightly lower than 3.0, but you have in your CV or you showed you have extracurricular activities or other achievements apart from your study, then it will also PD will take into account your achievement, your extra achievements. So that might compensate for the short of the GPA. So you can still apply for our master's programs and let the PD to decide to have a review of your, because our evaluation is very comprehensive. It's not just based on your GPA. We will also look at your reference letters, your CV, your portfolio, if you have something like that. So yeah, just apply for it if you're interested in any of the master's programs.
A question from Isaac. Is there any stipend for masters? There is one program, Isaac, called Sustainable Construction.
Sustainable construction.
Sustainable Construction. Yeah.
TSP.
Go to the website, Sustainable Construction. There's a program called Talent Selection Program for that particular major, and that has a stipend. No others have a stipend.
Yeah.
What are the requirements of the 30% and 50% scholarships for the Taisan campus from Nicholas? These are the industry leadership scholarships, Nicholas. These ones. Sorry, I've lost it. Industry leadership scholarships, quota 30. Academic merits, as all of them are. And I said that the chance is higher here. Yes, definitely higher. The number of applicants is lower, frankly. And we're trying to support the growth of these programs. So this one, probably what you consider to be the higher, the academic level of competition is slightly lower, but it is based on good academic standing. Somebody's asked again about transfer. Yes, you can transfer. Can I join my medical program from 4th year? No, because we don't have any medical degree programs, so no medicine. Transfer, yes, I think transfer you need to write to this email address here, international at, because transfer is a case-by-case decision with no criteria written down in detail other than you must be able to transfer your credits. But what your credits are depends on you, your own background. So you need to talk to us and send us information so we give you guidance on that. What are the requirements? What are the criteria for UG applicants to increase the chance of getting a 100% scholarship? So from Vincentius, 100% scholarship is based on very high academic standing, very, very high. So I think the grades, if it was an A-level equivalent, would be AAA or A star and A's. And how you can increase your chance, I think, is to simply apply as early as possible and provide all the documents. And if you are a very, very high level student, you would definitely be considered. But it's been mentioned before that the higher the scholarship, the more competitive it is. So the only thing you can really do to make the decision more favourable towards you is to consider the earliest application, because that's when your chance is higher, simply because the money hasn't been all spent. Right. How many students are there in Taisan campus average per year? Nicholas, good question. Each year, there's how many? 3. There was 1,000 joined last year. Yeah, okay, so the campus has got an overall capacity, which means it can accommodate 10,000 students. At the moment, there are 5,000 students, I think, in Taisan, slightly less. So they're building up each year around 1,000, I might be wrong, students move to Taisan. When you go to the Taisan campus, you basically have 1 year in the main campus here in the center of Suzhou. And then after your first year, you move to Taisan for the dedicated degree program. So each year there's this group of students who move to Taisan for their degree. Number of international students is relatively small. It's around 50 at the moment. So it's growing, but it's still, quite a small population. Please suggest a PhD program in financial technologies or the main focus. If you're a potential PhD student, this is my advice to you. In order to get a PhD in XJTLU or any other university, you need to demonstrate your research capabilities at the application stage by going to the website and being very active in terms of identifying which of the sub departments and professors is suitable to supervise the PhD that you want to do. That's how it works. PhD is basically controlled by a professor according to his or her own research interest. So what you need to do is look at the website, find where that research interest matches yours. Look at if these people have got scholarships available. Are they going to have scholarships available? Which means you might want to send them an email and ask them politely, do you plan to have a scholarship? And sort of, you've got to be active with a PhD. It's not like a master's program where you basically apply for something that already exists and is standardized every year. And each year there's the same process and the same deadline and the same scholarships. PhD is so flexible, and it's very much the individual professors who control that. And it makes it very difficult to say to a student, this is what you do in order to get a PhD. No, what you do in order to get a PhD is basically do your own research to find out where the opportunity lies and then pursue the opportunity through making the connection with the right professor or department. And that's good advice, I think, for all British style, American style PhDs. It may be in a Chinese national university, it's more straightforward, but those PhDs are much more structured and they're taught largely, they've got a large taught component. Our PhDs are like very, very pure research. So you kind of have to be of the level where you're capable of conducting independent research. Hence why the application and admission process puts a lot of reliance on you being very proactive to find where the opportunities are. And I can't give much better advice because that's how it is. I'm doing a PhD. You have to pretty much do everything yourself, and it takes maybe 1 year at least to try and from finding the opportunity to getting in. It's a kind of challenge, and it's not something you do lightly. It's something that you're going to make a big commitment to in terms of your time. But there are plenty of opportunities here for PhD. While I'm making it sound very difficult, there's actually a lot of projects and a lot of opportunity and a lot of really good professors. But you have to start from understanding that the professors control this. We don't control this from our offices. Professors control it according to their choice of what kind of project, what kind of students, whether they like you when they interview you, whether they don't. It's very, very subjective. Okay. Do we need to submit a foreigner physical examination? Not. So Emma, good question. At the application process, you don't need the physical examination. If you get a place and you pay your deposit and you're outside China, you also don't need to do it. If you're inside China and you're transferring your visa to Suzhou, you might need to do it, but definitely not at the application stage. This would be at the enrollment and arrival stage. A full scholarship, okay, I think that's it. Have we missed any questions? So if I've not answered your question or you want to ask another question, please can you just copy your question in, or you can speak. Raise your hand. We may have missed some questions. Raise your hand if you want to ask any more questions. No?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
From Ireland, JRC.
Okay.
Hold
Hold on, Eileen, we're getting your question. I can't see it.
Hi, hello.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Thank you for the it's very useful information. So I just want to ask if we can get the presentation slides after.
Sure, Jingran, we'll send them to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Do
That's all.
we have your email address, I guess?
Just
Send your email address. Write
Okay,
your
okay.
email address in the thing.
Yes,
Yeah, no problem.
yes. Okay,
Good to
thank
hear
you so
from
much.
you.
Yeah.
Somebody's missed the scholarship. I'm afraid I missed this. The scholarship yeah. Oh, this is a really good question. I'm afraid for the scholarship, can we combine the early bird with the, yes, I think so. Am I right, Jingran? If you get a 50% scholarship, you also can use, yes.
You cannot give like the different scholarships center. So then go to the government scholarship and then go
Okay.
to the entry scholarship.
But you can get the early bird.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, so the early bird scholarship can be combined. Sorry, the early bird discount can be combined with any scholarship. Yes.
Student list. So
Okay.
Frank.
Radila, do you want to ask your question? Oh, Frank, sorry. Hey, Frank, go ahead and ask your question. Or not. Maybe he doesn't want to ask a question. No, maybe he's got his accident. Okay. Anybody else would like to raise a question, or have we missed your question?
I need to raise the head again.
Okay. Eileen, do you want to ask a question?
Yes,
Hi
to know-
again.
Hi again. I just want to know about the 2+2 transfer.
Yeah.
So after student taking 2 years in China and want to transfer for the third and fourth years to Liverpool,
Yeah.
and how the visa arrangement. So if
Yeah.
XJTLU help us go through with the things, or we should find out by ourselves.
So I think we should probably might do a webinar just devoted to the 2+2, but because it's a big issue. But the answer is we should help you. So we have a 2+2 manager who has a responsibility to support the visa, and she should do this. I think during the pandemic years, because of the problems with travel, there wasn't a great amount of, nothing happened. So this year, we have asked the 2+2 manager to be very active in supporting all the international students, to give them advice in the April, May, June window before they go to Liverpool about what the best method is for them to get the UK visa. So the usual situation is they can apply for it in Shanghai, just like a Chinese student. It can be done in Shanghai, but it may not be, it may be according to the student's plan to return to their country in the summer, easier to apply or cheaper to apply maybe from their own country. So we've asked the 2+2 manager to basically meet each student who wants to go on a 2+2 and give them advice based on their own situation. And that the critical thing really is, where does the student want to be in the summer? If the student wants to stay in China until they go to the UK, they can stay in China and do it in China. If they want to go home in the summer, that totally changes everything and determines the rest of the process. So it's, yeah, I think the most important thing is that the students need to meet the 2+2 support manager, and each student needs to talk to her about what they want to do, and she'll give them the advice about where is the best place and what is the best method for the UK visa. It's not so difficult. The UK visa from XJTLU to Liverpool is not difficult. We've got almost 100% visa success rate, but it's kind of logistics is the tricky thing, like where to do it, when to do it. That's that's kind of a complicated part of it. I know why you're asking.
Yeah, because student tends to go back to
They tend to go
the
back.
original
Yeah,
agents.
yeah.
And
Yeah,
it-
I
it-
know,
it-
we discovered this. I think the reason is that the students don't think about it. So they finish the summer, they finish the course here, and then they just go home and then they think about it. And then it's kind of too late for them to come back to Shanghai to
Exactly.
do it. So we
Yeah.
want to, so don't worry, what we'll do in next March, April, is we'll contact all the students and warn them in advance and say, okay, you want to go to Liverpool, you need to think about what you're going to do in the summer now. I think it's simply that communication is it needs to be done earlier.
Okay. So is it possible to arrange like a Zoom meeting between agent, students, and the 2+2 manager?
Yeah, sure. That would be a good idea. Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Yeah,
Okay then. That's
Yeah.
all. Thank you so much.
thank you.
Share the 2+2 email.
Oh, Jingran has shared the email of the 2+2 manager.
We all go slow shop hands up.
Okay,
It's called I don't know how to say.
Ishmael, would you like to ask a question? Hello, Ishmael. Ishmael is muted. Hold on. I think you can speak now. Are you muted, Ismail? I think you're muted. We can't hear you. Try again, Ishmael. Do you want to type your question, Ismail, because we can't hear you? Type your question and we can answer. Any other questions in the meantime?
Yes, we have another. What new man?
Newman, do you want to ask a question? Go ahead and ask. We can't hear you.
Right, so. He still mentioned he or she's new.
I think if we can't hear you, type your questions.
Fair did I also. Oh, you know,
Hi,
Hey, Newman. We can hear you now.
hi,
Go
I'm
ahead.
new. So glad to meet you now. And I just found 1 week ago you had this kind of meeting, so I got the time to meet you. So I'm also so much interested to get the chance in such kind of meeting. So I'm just graduated from the university. So if you can help me to get a scholarship, that's great for me, and I'm so grateful if you can prepare that kind of opportunity for me.
I recommend you're looking for a master's degree. I recommend you go to the website and search for the suitable masters. Look for the ones that have 100% scholarship, which we can show you the slide now, and simply apply relatively early. That will give you the best chance for the masters. Yeah,
Okay,
and Res, we'll just put the slide up. Okay.
okay,
Okay, we got
no problem.
Ishmael's. Okay, good luck. We've got Ishmael's questions.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So Ishmael, your question is, do you pay in your own currency or qualified currency? You, when you pay the tuition fees, it's calculated in renminbi, the Chinese currency, and at the time you pay, it will be converted to the currency that you pay in the bank, which will be according to the. I mean, if you, so it's a bit complicated. You go to the bank and you say you're in, I don't know where you are, but say you're in Iran or somewhere, you say, okay, I want to pay this amount in RMB. It gets converted into RMB, often via the US dollar. That's normally the banking practice. So the conversion rate is changeable almost every day. You've got to, yeah, how can I say, you need to pay attention. If you're in a country where the currency is fluctuating relatively frequently at a relatively high level, when you pay is actually very important to how much you pay. So there isn't a big urgency in the payment. You get your offer, and then you've got quite a few weeks and sometimes months in order to confirm the offer and pay. So I think if your currency is fluctuating, it's a very important question as to when you pay, which day you pay. The renminbi, the Chinese currency, is very, very stable. It's a relatively stable global currency, but it depends on the currency that you're going to pay from. That might not be stable. Right, I think that might be it. We're just going to have one more check because we've gone over time. We'll send a presentation. Okay. So we will, if you quickly write your email address into the box for Dila and the other students, we'll send you the presentation if you want, and you can have a look and check back on the scholarship. So there are some 100% scholarships, yes. Not for all subjects, but if you write your email, please, and we'll send you this presentation, and then you can see where the 100% ones are. Okay, thanks. Yeah, there you go, Jinran. Everybody wants the PPT. Then check the presentation, but remember that the website is up to changes when things change. So at the moment, this is exactly the scholarships we have for the next 1 year. But that does not mean there won't be some other opportunities coming up. And it doesn't mean that next year it will be the same. So the website should always be checked to keep up to date with what's going on. And sign up to our, can you go back to our WeChat scan? And go back to, let's just leave you with this, because this is a really good way to keep up to date with information. Oh, sorry, I need to close it down. So here, this QR code here, XJTLU Global, this is we almost update this every day. This is an account where we provide information to interested students, universities, partners, colleges and agents about what's going on, and will generally be very up to date and including all the, if we have new scholarships, we're surely going to post them in this account. So sign up to this account. I think it'll be useful. Okay. I think that's it. We're going to go home and have our dinner. Could you please? Oh, the earliest time you can apply for accommodation is after you have paid your deposit, you can confirm your accommodation. And there's plenty of accommodation. So everybody, all international students will get accommodation. We can't guarantee you which type, but it will be at least a single room, a single private room. as soon as you paid your deposit, you can confirm it. Yes, if you're a Chinese language student, you can definitely have accommodation. You will get a single private room, and the cost is around 1,900 RMB per month, and we can guarantee that. But pay the pay the deposit, and then you'll be linked to the accommodation team. They'll send you this like a form to fill in. When you fill in the form, you'll get a confirmation of the booking. Fidela, please write us an email. I think we need to send you the whole PPT, and then you can check back what the scholarship courses are. There's quite a number of them. Okay, we're going to go because it's becoming dinner time and we've run over time and everybody's looking forward to going home. So please keep in touch with us. It's really good to see you today. If you write to us on this email or you sign up to our global information channel, you'll be able to keep in touch with us. Please ask us questions. We'll be doing many more webinars in the next few months. If you actually want to propose a topic for a webinar, then please propose one, because we can do these very easily and frequently. So keep in touch with us, and good night. And thank you to my fellow speakers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.